Okay, guys. So I was talking about how it's important that when you grow a garden, you plant a garden, how important it is to make sure you don't overplant your garden. In other words, start small. You should start small because if you don't, you can get overwhelmed by trying to take care of a garden, and it becomes that you're wasting food because you've planted too much and now you can't dispose of what you've got unless you give it away. And that's okay because sometimes that's all people grow gardens for, is to help others who have food insufficiency or not enough food. And that's fine if that's what your intent is. But if your intent is to grow a garden, small, medium, or large, you should already have in place a plan how to harvest your food and then how to make sure that the food lasts for a while. That includes seed harvesting from the vegetables that went to seed and how to store those seeds properly. Also, how to make sure that your food is stored properly. And some of the methods that we use, the technology that we use, is since we grow herbs, and my wife is a certified trained herbalist, since we grow herbs in our with our veggies, also to help control pests, then we have to have a way of making sure that the medicine, which herbs are nothing but medicine, and they're not to be used improperly. And if you're using herbs and you're trying to make sure you share those with others, you make sure that you have a disclaimer that you must check with your doctor first before taking herbs. Since my wife is a certified herbalist and she taught me a lot over the 18 years of our marriage, she's healed so many people. She saved my life twice. Physically twice. I'm a disabled vet. When I met her, the doctor told her I wouldn't live past 2009. And and she used the herbs to help me heal. And I should ever be grateful for that. I got a wonderful wife who I'm very much in love with. She is my best friend and business partner. But as I was saying about stewardship and not growing a garden that's too large that you can't handle, is very important. Before I go on with that, let me take a pause. These are pomegranate seeds, fruits, and pomegranate has a lot of beneficial use for the body. Full of anthocyanins, polyphenols. These are beets. Another tray of beets. Pineapples. So we're going to process these with the Harvest Right freeze dryer. The freeze dryer costs us, the particular model we got is the Harvest Right Pro. And the premium pump is over here that we decided to choose for this Harvest Right because of the efficiency of taking care of the premium pump from the Harvest Right. And I guess you can see it right there, the green. That's the Harvest Right Premium Pump Pro. So the unit cost us about $3,900 and it's been worth every cent. So we're going to set this for 24-hour processing. So let's do this from here. You should hear the startup of the pump. And so I'm going to add the time to 24 hours. Drying time. I'm gonna add more time. It's telling me to close the drain valve, which I already did, but we'll always say that no matter what you're doing with the harvest right, when you start it up, it's going to tell you to close the drain valve. If you don't, it's going to start initiating a beep, even though it started as if it's processing. The computer inside the interface will start sending a message to the display to let the operator know that the drain valve is open or the door hasn't been shut properly. So it will give you warnings before the harvest right freeze dryer starts processing your batches. And the interface is really customer friendly. So starting over again. So now I'm gonna start it. I went too far. I'm not doing this in the sequence that I need to, so let's do this the right way. So everything's loaded into the freeze dryer. I did that. Push continue. It's freezing. I touched the button here. And I touch it again. So now I'm going to add the time to 24 hours. You see it already only set for like minutes. And it takes about 24 hours or more depending on the batch you use to process your batch to extract all the water out of everything that you put in the freezer to turn it into powder. Now it's going to say more time. So that's what I want to do. So continue. Now here's where I add the time. So I'll set the time for 24 hours and walk away. Okay. So I've got I got another tray. I thought I had just 5, but I got 6. I'm going to ask my wife about that. But all I can say is I took you on a short tour of our part of our garden. It's just part. We have raised garden beds all around the edge of the wall of our property. We're growing food because we believe in food being able to keep us healthy and not have to depend on grocery stores to get the food that's been poisoned by APEAL, A-P-E-A-L, or A-P-E-E-L. You can look it up online. And OPEAL, O-P-E-E-L, or O-P-E-A-L. It's a chemical they spray on the produce. And also they spray the produce when you go in the grocery store and you see the mist come on. It has bleach in it. So it's important that you understand why you need to grow your food. I don't care if you live in an apartment. I've said this many times on many videos, so this is nothing new. Get you a container. I don't care if you use a 5-gallon bucket. See? I didn't have that valve closed. Shame on me. All right, the valve wasn't closed, so I'll see how that affects the processing. You heard that hissing? That's because I left the drain valve open, and all the time it was telling me to close the drain valve. This time I ignored it. So that's what can happen, and I guess it's a glad thing that you're able to hear that if you pay attention, that you have to make sure that the drain valve on the side is closed. Otherwise, the chamber cannot vacuum and it will not freeze. So as I was saying, that now it's saying unable to achieve vacuum. Is drain valve securely closed? Is drain valve pump powered on? See Harvest Right troubleshooting guidelines. Since I closed the drain valve, that's why I say that the display on the Harvest Right freeze dryer is very intuitive. In fact, let me show that to you. So you won't say, Mr. Cooper, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm getting ready to show it to you. And it's beeping. See that? It's because I did not secure the drain valve. I didn't have it in a shut position. So some of you, if you can reach lower, and I'll keep it here a little minute. If not, then I'm going to move on. Is the drain valve. It was in an open position parallel to this line. When it's open like that, that means you've already processed your batch. The Harvest Right freeze dryer will not let you in the chamber until you open this valve so all the pressure can be released to open that door. So since I didn't, which I thought I did, I wasn't paying attention. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I live by those standards. If I do something wrong, I'm going to tell you I'm wrong. So I'm telling you, I didn't pay attention to the protocol I usually pay attention to, but now since the display has given me a warning that the drain valve was not closed, I close it. And you see the little black knob? It has to be perpendicular to this line. See? All right. So we got that taken care of. And now that the Harvest Right, I'm going to push continue. And so now it's picked up where the time was set to start processing it. And the Harvest Right Premium Pump, Harvest Right Pro, and Harvest Right Premium Pro Pump is now initiated and started the vacuum process. So if you're interested in this type of content, please subscribe to our channel and push like. It'll help the algorithm to keep our content on YouTube. And so those who are interested in this type of content that we share with you will continue to look at it. And please hit the thumbs up button or the like symbol and click on the bell and select all that's above the bell. And please leave us a comment. Any suggestions you got or any questions or maybe a kind of a gardening content that you are interested in and you want to see us do it. And if we can do it, we'll do it for you. But as I was saying before, don't use an excuse to say you can't grow your own food. This nation's food is in terrible, deadly position. From listeria to every other foodborne pathogen that are out in the food that farmers use chemicals and everything else. You're putting that into your body. And since you put into your body, what do you get for thinking that you're eating healthy? You get cancer, you get all kind of tumors, you get all kind of gastrointestinal illnesses, you get colon cancer, possibly brain cancer, parasites, because you make an excuse to say, I don't want to grow my food. I'm going to depend on the grocery store to feed me. I'm going to depend on the restaurants. You don't know what they're doing behind that wall when they're preparing your food. And there's been published articles where showing workers either peeing in the coffee or spitting in the food, digging in their nose and then preparing the food. All restaurants do not use gloves. And they should make it a national law, the health department, to make sure every restaurant use gloves and that everything is inspected before they get that grade A on their wall. Because most of these restaurants don't have grade A food, because if that's the truth, the hospitals wouldn't be filled with sick people. See, so I'm just telling you, grow your own food. And then what we do at our Back to Eden Urban Homestead, or our Back to Eden, is that we use technology. See, because the food that we get out of our garden, every tray in here, except for the pineapple and the apricot seeds, were gotten from organic place. Everything else came out of our garden. Our greens come out of our garden. Our fruits, our peppers, everything that we dry freeze with the Harvest Right freeze dryer is to help the food to last for 25 years. 25 years. After we freeze dry it, then we powder it. We use a food grinder to turn it into powder, especially beets. If you got high blood pressure like myself, again, I'm a disabled vet, I use the high blood pressure to make sure it helps control my blood pressure so I don't have to take many over prescription meds, which really is doing more harm than good to control blood pressure. When Yahweh, our Creator, meant for us to eat our herbs and vegetables to heal our body, our temple, so that we wouldn't have these illnesses. But we fell for the okie doke and said, the commercial said to do this, and my doctor said to do this. These doctors don't know nothing about the human body except what they learn on the computer when you come to the office. Well, what's wrong with you, sir? Well, I'm having this symptom. He goes in, look on the computer, because he don't know about heart. See, the old doctors knew physiology. See, knew what to give you. And the old doctors were DO, doctor osteopathic doctors. And they would suggest that you take this herb, or would your grandmother give you this? Well, you keep taking that, ma'am or sir, you'll get better. But no, these new doctors, they are in it for the money. And the few that are in it to heal actual patients, and there are some doctors, some good doctors today, So I want somebody to say, well, you said all doctors. 90% of doctors don't know what the hell they're doing. See, and the 10%, they actually care for the patients. They actually want to treat you so they'll heal you. And they will even suggest that you use herbs. Go pick up an herb someplace, they help you. Rest of the doctors hand them pills out, get their vacation check, and you out the door. And they took part of your insurance. So we can stop that by growing our own food. If you live in an apartment, get your container. If you say, well, I live out high, I live on the 10th floor. If your balcony is facing the sun, you have no excuse. Get your container. Or you can grow microgreens right in your house. And in a lot of cases, have more nutrients in it than actual veggies in a garden. See? So you have options, people. And if you are renting, as long as you got space on that land that house is sitting on, you can grow your food. There's no excuses. And those who own their houses, if they haven't paid them off, and you really don't own a house. See, people get this misconception, well, I bought my house, and those are renters. Everybody in America is renting. And you pay off that house, and until the United States starts charging you tax on your property, you don't own it. See, so you can get your head out of the cloud and think, I'm better than he or she. No, everybody's paying rent in America. But some of these countries don't charge you taxes on your property if you buy it outright or you pay it off, such as in Africa, which is where I hope we end up in. When you buy a property over there, there's no more taxes on it. See, you can grow your garden, do anything you want to. There's no HOA unless you go into one of the modern places. Yeah, they have an HOA, but still, that wouldn't be an excuse. We live in an HOA, but we plant our own food. See, there's nothing that can stop you people. And I know if I'm coming across a little brash and passionate, it's because I am passionate about making sure that we eat healthy and that we use technology, because otherwise, if we grew everything in the garden, it would probably last 2 weeks before it starts spoiling. With the Harvest Right freeze dryer, your food can last up to 25 years. See? And if you powder it, especially if it's herbs, that means you don't have to ever think about going to a pharmacy. See? So we use the Harvest Right freeze dryer. We use the Excalibur dryers. We have 2 of those. And as far as you may say, well, I can't afford an Excalibur dryer. Fine. Get a cookie sheet, whatever you're placing your stuff on, and put it out in the sun. You're only going to get 10 to 15% of the nutrient value out of there, but at least your food will be dry. Your fruits that you got from your peach tree in your garden or whatever, slice it up. And if you have a vehicle, put them in trays in your vehicle. The vehicle gets about 127 to 157 degrees in the summer. You got a dryer. So there's no excuse, people. So I would ask you also, so we have the Harvest Right freeze dryer, we have the Excalibur dryers, we have the Levo distractor. It takes oils from the concentrated the oils from your herbs that you grow. And then after the oil's taken out, you still can dry the herbs. See, whether you use a car, a cookie sheet, or a box, put a box in your yard, put a cookie sheet in a box. Everything's possible to make sure you grow healthy food to extend your life. You will barely, if you're able to grow certain fruits and vegetables, fine. If you can't, find families and friends who got a garden and they can't grow a peach tree or a mulberry tree. In Nevada, it's supposed to be illegal, but or a fig tree. But maybe your cousin has one, so y'all can swap, seeds and share your knowledge with what you do. The thing I have to say is that then we have other equipment that help us make sure that our food lasts longer than 2 weeks. See, because if a beet stay in the refrigerator, they'll start getting fungi. See, same thing with cucumbers and onions. But by freeze drying your onions, which we've already done, I've done a video on that, the onions taste like candy when they come out. Smell is potent that come out of our garden. So you have no excuse, people. I don't have an excuse, see? But one thing I know that my wife and I save money because we make sure if we're good stewards of our foods, we find ways to make it last beyond the time that it normally would die or spoil in the refrigerator or spoil on the shelf. The Harvest Right freeze dryer, if you can't get one on your own, see if you can get together with people that you know and love that's willing to go buy a Harvest Right. They're different prices. You can go to harvestright.com. I'm not affiliate yet, but I'm going to be. I'm going to put in for it. But right now, my passion is leading me to share the ways that you can save your food without them a company paying me for it. Because that's what we do. That's my wife and I do. Try to share knowledge on our YouTube page to hopefully inspire you so that you'll say, you know what, man, honey, or man, I want to grow my food, or daughter or son, let's start a garden. Because they put their heads in them doggone paths too much. See, looking at just junk, trash. Instead of looking at on their paths, looking up how to grow a garden. Now that's a good reason to have technology. But technology has a two-sided blade. It's like heaven and hell. If you look at trash on an electronic device and spend your time looking at your phone without looking at something that is more intuitive to help your life better, a gardening show or a food cook show or whatever, instead of looking at some trashy content on a social media platform, you're wasting your life and you're wasting your time. So do better, people. We all got to. See? And yeah, he said, man, I don't know if I want to go to this show because he's talking some stuff. Yeah, I am. Because I know that our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and our Savior Yahshua put us on this planet to represent Him, not to blaspheme His name by calling Him Lord Jesus or Christ. See? So this is the reason why the garden also takes place for this. We got to go, people. Again, subscribe, share, like, leave a comment, and see you in the next one. I'll turn off.